want to tell you something I've been sitting with for a few months now. And if you're a woman over 50 and can't find a job, this video is for you. My whole working life, and I've been self-employed most of those years, I have had a secret, a safety net I never talked about, but I always knew was there. Whenever things got hard, whenever the business got slow or I got tired or I just didn't want to figure it all out, I knew I could go get a job, a real job with a salary and benefits and someone else making the hard decisions. Not every time, but often enough that was my escape hatch. But knowing it was there meant that I had never had to fully commit, and that's where I hold all this shame. So if you see me giggling, it's shame. I never committed to anything, not really. There was always a door behind me, an escape hatch. 4 months after I moved to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, I lost my job. Not my business, I've always puttered away at that, my job. The one that was paying me $2,000 US a month, plus commission. I lost the cushion that made this whole endeavor possible. And I sat here in my little apartment in Mexico, realizing something I had never had to face before. I can't just go get a job. I can't get one here. Not because there are no jobs, but because taking local work in a country where I'm a guest, where Mexicans are earning a fraction of what I need to survive, it just doesn't feel right to me or sustainable. And my Spanish is not very good and not good enough to compete at any level. So for the first time in my adult life, the door behind me has actually disappeared. I want to share what that has actually done to me because I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the only woman over 50 facing this right now, unable to get a job. I don't think I'm the only one that has turned around and realized there is no escape hatch behind me. Self-employment for me over the years has looked like contracting various skills, coaching, consulting, sales training, courses. I have done many, many versions of these, and I have genuinely loved all of it. But here's what I never said out loud. Every single time it got hard, every time revenue dipped or a client left or I just burned out or lost my confidence, I had a way out. I would take a contract or a part-time role or a full-time salary position for a year or two to recover. And then I would come back when I felt self-confident and refreshed and ready to work hard again. I thought that was smart. And in some ways it was. But what I'm only now understanding is what it also cost me on so many levels. It has meant I've never had to find out what I was capable of when there was no other option. Here is what my ego struggles to admit. Every time things got hard or uncomfortable, I took the exit. And I told myself it was strategic. It was practical. It was the grown-up thing to do. Perhaps some of that in some of those situations was true. But most of those times I was doing the thing I had always done in every part of my life. Just run. Now at 60, I'm looking around at people I know and have known for years in some cases who did the 9 to 5. What I'm seeing is that many of them are in a much better position than I am. And that's okay. I'm just noticing. On the flip side, I can't speak to their experiences, but I can say for me, I definitely did things my way. And in this moment of my life, I'm paying dearly for that stubbornness. That part of me that I always thought was such a great tool. So I'm here today sharing this with you as a way to out myself and hopefully help other women who may also be struggling with this. Perhaps, other women see this and catch their own pattern earlier than I have, or more effectively than I have, quite frankly. 5 years ago, I took a sales job, and it was a good position in a good company with good people, great product, $2,000 US a month plus commissions. In Canada, that's a sustainable income. It's comfortable. I can support myself with that. Barely, but I can do it. In Mexico, where I now live, that is way more than enough to live and even enough to save. That job is what made this move to Mexico possible. I spent 5 years building the cushion, building the courage, and quite frankly, building the plan. And then I moved. And 4 months into that move, my role was eliminated. Nobody's fault, it just was. As I've mentioned in other videos, it was actually 4 days before my 60th birthday. My first instinct, though, was relief. I had been floundering in that position as there was not really room for growth. There was no opportunity to move through the company, or even earn more. My knee-jerk reaction was not grief. It was not panic. It was, all right, I'll just find another sales job. That was the pattern kicking in. The door behind me opening, except when I turned around this time, the door wasn't there. I turned around to find there is no escape hatch for me. The economy is different. The landscape has shifted significantly. In theory, I could work remotely for another company, but the roles that I'm qualified for, the salary I need, these are not easy to land from a Mexican address with a big fat gap on my resume, not to mention my age. While highly qualified, the competition is steep and younger. And taking local work here, I thought about it. Some expats do it, but the minimum wage in Mexico is about $14 US a day. It's not sustainable. I'm a guest in this country. I don't want to be taking jobs that Mexican families need. It just feels wrong to me. No criticism for other people that do take jobs here. It's just not for me. So no, that's not an option. So again, for the first time, I have no escape, no release valve from the stress and the worry of putting my head down and genuinely generating the income for myself. For the first time in 45 years of working this way, there's only me. I have to finally commit. Frankly, my track record with commitment has been abysmal on all parts of my life. I expected to panic, as I have in the past. I expected to feel trapped. I expected to spend a lot of time refreshing job boards and second guessing the move to Mexico, perhaps falling back into a depressive state, which I have experienced many times in my life. Some of this has happened. some of this has happened. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. And some of it I'm still actively battling, sometimes daily. But something else has happened. Something I have never really experienced in quite this way before. I'm getting super focused, clear, and feeling ready because I've finally accepted and embraced my mistakes. And I'm moving forward despite my ego. It's been a process for sure. I'm not like motivational poster focused, not vision board focused, but actually and practically necessarily focused. Because there's nothing else to do. The business has to work, not as a side hustle, not as a creative outlet, not as I need to rest my brain. This focus is like a tunnel vision I've never experienced before. Even in the moments when I have slipped into fear, and it's real, I have been able to slow down, take a breath again, recommit to what it is I need to do in each and every moment. Still terrified, still a bit lost, still recommitting moment by moment. I've started to really notice how much time and energy I've been spending for years keeping that escape hatch oiled and ready to go. Monitoring job boards just in case, keeping my LinkedIn current just in case, staying connected to people and industries that I had left just in case. I'm even tired saying it. It's only been in the last 6 weeks that I've realized it's not only a backup plan, it's my mind dividing what precious energy I have instead of committing to the process of doing the work, taking the action instead of wallowing in the fear. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should move to another country. I would never recommend that. And remove all of their options. That's not the point. It's just what I did. The point is that I have been using the availability of that escape hatch as a reason to never fully step into the opportunities in front of me. The opportunity to grow in a way I never have committed to in the past, never. And I wonder, am I the only one? And I'm asking you this genuinely, because if you have had a door like that, or there is something that you have not fully committed to, for whatever reason, something you have avoided that you may not be fully confident about, but something you want to accomplish. Maybe it's a version of yourself you keep on standby, dare I say? Is it just me, or is there more of us out there? I think there are. I have never before entertained closing that escape hatch, but now that it's completely disappeared, it is interesting to see what's showing up for me. All my habits, the good, the bad, the not so helpful, are present in a way they never have been before. So I've pushed my own back up against the wall. I have prepaid all my rent and bills here in Mexico for the next 3 months. I am still traveling back to Canada for the summer. I want to see my people. I feel like I need them now. And quite frankly, I need to cool off. It's brutally hot here. I will continue to work in my business all summer. That can't change. I'm still currently in Mexico as of this recording. I'm committed to a year here. I could have bailed, but I think it's important that I don't. I don't run this time. I'm still figuring this all out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's all solved, know exactly what I'm doing, because that's not true. I will say this. I have done more real work, both figuratively and literally, in the last couple of weeks than I've done in the last 2 years. Not because the circumstances are better or worse, but because there's nowhere else to go. The idea of getting another job is horrifying. There's no safety net to catch me. And even if there was a safety net, I would still be there. So if you're someone in your own version of this, where the old options are closing, or maybe something you've just never tried, I would genuinely love to support you with that. As a trained coach and neurochange practitioner, I do open slots on my calendar every month. The first few of them are very discounted. If you're navigating this kind of transition on your own, it's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to do this on your own. And sometimes just getting a sounding board or someone else to look at your situation is so helpful. It's been so helpful to me over the years. I have nothing to pitch you on those calls. It's really just about supporting you to move forward. The link will be in the description. If this video has landed for you, please let me know. Sometimes I feel like I'm naked on a stage with these videos, and I'm still driven to share what I'm learning in the hope that I'm reaching the right women. I have no way to know unless someone comments or likes it. If you have seen a few of my videos, 3,500 people watched my last video. That's incredible to me. I'm so grateful. However, only 5% of them were actually subscribed. And I get it. You got to get to know people before you subscribe. It's a commitment. It's free, but it's still a commitment. If you've made it here, a thumbs up on this video and or a comment would be so appreciated. I do appreciate you being here. As always, drop your questions and video suggestions below. I read all the comments and I respond to them as soon as I see them. Until next time.